Over the past few months, Toyota has been absolutely destroying Ford and GM. And some new announcements by the world's best-selling automotive brand has every other manufacturer completely freaking out. Toyota vehicle that's absolutely destroying Ford and GM in sales.
Toyota just unveiled a brand new pickup truck for around $13,000. And in a world where trucks now cost more than houses used to, that alone sounds unreal.
In the United States and North America, they just called it the truck. In fact, they didn't really name it. It was truck with a lowercase t. They called it the pickup in some marketing materials, but people just knew it as the Toyota truck.
But here's the twist. This truck is unfinished on purpose. No luxury fluff, no glossy screens, and no plans to sell it in America. So why did Toyota build it anyway? What did they see that other automakers ignored? And would you buy a truck that arrives intentionally incomplete? More importantly, how did Toyota pull this off without cutting corners where it actually matters? The $13,000 price that shouldn't exist. And once that price sinks in, the disbelief only grows. Because right now, the cheapest new trucks most people recognize sit in a completely different universe. A compact pickup, like the Ford Maverick, usually starts in the low to mid-$20,000 range. And that is before dealer markups quietly push it higher. The Hyundai Santa Cruz plays the same game, styled like a truck but priced closer to a crossover, often landing near or above $30,000 by the time paperwork is signed. Even Toyota's own Tacoma, long praised as the affordable mid-size truck, has drifted into the mid-$30,000 range without breaking a sweat. Now, zoom out for a second. The average price of a new vehicle today is hovering around $48,000. Trucks routinely clear $50,000 without even trying. Big screens, powered tailgates, stitched leather, and subscription features that charge you monthly to use hardware you already bought. That is the normal world we live in. So when Toyota says $13,000 for a brand new pickup, it does not just feel cheap. It feels wrong, like a typo, like someone missed a digit. In today's market, that number feels almost illegal. But here's the key detail most headlines skip. Toyota did not magically invent cheaper steel or pay workers in wishes. They did something far more uncomfortable for the modern auto industry. They asked a dangerous question. What if buyers never wanted half this stuff in the first place? Look closely at where modern trucks balloon in price. It is not engines or frames. It is layers of features stacked on features, most of which never touch dirt, cargo, or tools. Touchscreens grow larger than laptops. Seats gain motors in every direction. Software multiplies. Complexity creeps in. And every single addition compounds cost, weight, and future repair bills. Toyota walked in the opposite direction. No giant infotainment system. No luxury trim packages pretending to be toughness. No endless electronic add-ons. The focus snaps back to the basics. A frame that can work. An engine that lasts, and a body you can actually use without fear of scratching something expensive. Ask yourself this: when was the last time a truck got cheaper by doing less on purpose? Would you trade a massive touchscreen for a truck that costs half as much? Would you give up heated seats if it meant no monthly payments? And if trucks were never meant to feel like luxury lounges, why did we let them become that? Toyota's $13,000 pickup exposes an uncomfortable truth. The price crisis was never just inflation. It was design choices. But here's where this story takes a turn. Toyota didn't just strip features. They stopped finishing the truck altogether. Why? The 70% finished truck that customers complete. And that unfinished feeling is not an accident. It is the entire strategy. Toyota openly admits this truck rolls off the line about 70% complete. Not broken, not cheapened, just intentionally unfinished. And that single decision flips everything we think we know about how vehicles are sold. Instead of handing buyers a fully locked product, Toyota hands them a working foundation and steps out of the way. Here's what that actually looks like in the real world. The truck arrives basic, durable, and ready to work, but without being forced into one identity. Toyota partnered with more than 100 third-party builders who design add-ons that bolt straight on. Not decorative fluff, but real transformations. In one city, the same truck becomes a compact food stand, serving noodles from a stainless steel counter. In another, it turns into a small camper with sleeping space and storage. Somewhere else, it becomes a patrol vehicle, a delivery rig, or even a stripped-down racing platform. That flexibility is the point. Toyota realized most buyers don't want more factory features. They want control. They want to decide what matters instead of paying for decisions made in a boardroom years earlier. Why force a touchscreen on someone who only needs a workhorse? Why ship a truck pretending to be luxurious when its real job is carrying weight, tools, or people? Think about how strange that sounds compared to modern car buying. Usually, the manufacturer decides the story, the trim level, and the lifestyle pitch. You pick from a menu and accept the compromises. Here, the roles reverse. Toyota builds the bones. The customer finishes the story. That shift quietly breaks the traditional power balance. Automakers usually lock you into ecosystems, proprietary parts, software updates, dealer-only changes. This truck does the opposite. It invites outside builders, local shops, and owners themselves to shape it. That openness keeps costs down and creativity up. It also keeps the truck useful longer because it can change jobs instead of being replaced. Ask yourself this: if you bought a blank canvas truck, would you turn it into a weekend camper, a mobile business, or a pure work tool? Would you trust yourself more than a factory marketing team to decide what you actually need? And if customization became normal again, would trucks stop feeling disposable? This approach feels radical today, but it shouldn't. Because here's the twist most people miss. Toyota didn't invent this idea in 2024. They're reviving something they mastered decades ago. And surprisingly, this isn't a new idea at all. Toyota has done this before. 50 years ago, the 1976 truck that predicted everything. That earlier version Toyota mastered has a name most people outside Asia never learned, but its DNA is everywhere once you see it. In 1976, Toyota quietly rolled out a boxy, bare-bones vehicle in Indonesia called the Toyota Kijang. In the Philippines, a nearly identical version was sold as the Tamarao. These weren't lifestyle trucks. They weren't aspirational. They were built for one thing only: to work, survive, and be fixed anywhere with basic tools. And that choice changed everything. The Kijang was designed during a time when Toyota understood something many modern automakers forgot. In developing markets, price matters, simplicity matters, and repairability matters more than polish. The truck used simple engines, flat body panels, and parts that local mechanics could understand without computers or dealer-only software. Toyota didn't just sell the vehicle. They helped local industries build it, modify it, and maintain it. Steel was sourced locally. Assembly was local. Knowledge stayed in the community. That design philosophy wasn't flashy, but it was ruthless in the best way. Cheap to buy, cheap to run, easy to fix, and flexible enough to become whatever the owner needed. One Kijang might haul crops during the week and carry an entire family on Sunday. Another became a taxi, a delivery van, or a mobile shop. Sound familiar? Here's the part most people don't realize. Toyota kept evolving this platform for 31 years. From 1976 all the way into the 2000s, the Kijang and Tamarao kept selling, adapting, and thriving. They weren't replaced by something better. They were refined because they already worked. Millions were sold across Southeast Asia, Africa, and Latin America. That kind of longevity doesn't happen by accident. It happens when a product actually fits real life. Toyota engineers have openly connected the dots. One engineer described the philosophy simply, saying the goal was to build a vehicle that communities could own, repair, and reshape themselves without depending on Toyota every step of the way. That sentence could be lifted straight into today's Hilux Champ briefing without changing a word. So when you look at Toyota's $13,000 pickup now, this isn't some radical new idea. It's a resurrection. A modern version of the Kijang and Tamaro, updated for today but guided by the same belief that cars don't need to be complicated to be good. Do you think vehicles have actually gotten better over time, or just heavier with features? When did toughness stop meaning simplicity? And if a truck could last decades by staying basic, why did we ever abandon that formula? Because here's the question that changes everything. If this model works so well, and history has already proved it, why won't Toyota sell this truck in America? Why America can't have this truck? That question hangs there for a reason, because the answer isn't emotional or mysterious. It's structural. America doesn't miss out on this truck because Toyota forgot about the market. America misses out because the system would crush it. Start with the quiet villain most people have never heard of: the chicken tax. Back in the 1960s, the U.S. slapped a 25% tariff on imported light trucks. It still exists today. That means the moment Toyota ships a $13,000 pickup into the U.S., it instantly becomes thousands of dollars more expensive before it even touches a dealership lot. The price advantage evaporates on the dock. Then come regulations. In the U.S., every new vehicle must meet strict crash standards, emissions rules, and electronic safety requirements. Airbags, sensors, cameras, reinforced structures, and onboard diagnostics. None of these are bad ideas on their own, but every requirement adds cost, weight, and complexity. The Hilux Champ is designed to be simple and affordable in markets where repairability matters more than software updates. To make it legal in the US, Toyota would have to redesign it so heavily that it would no longer be the same truck. The thing that makes it special would disappear. And there's another issue Toyota rarely says out loud: the Tacoma. Right now, the Tacoma is one of Toyota's biggest profit engines in America. It sells well, it carries strong margins, and it anchors Toyota's truck reputation. Drop a $13,000 Toyota pickup into the same market, and suddenly the question becomes uncomfortable. Why pay double for a Tacoma when a simpler Toyota truck exists next to it? That's cannibalization, and companies fear it more than bad press. Toyota knows exactly how many people would choose basic over premium if given the chance. They've already seen it play out in other regions. Selling this truck in America wouldn't just disrupt competitors. It would disrupt Toyota itself. So instead of chasing hype, Toyota is doing something very un-American. They're protecting the long game. They're choosing predictable margins over viral headlines. They're keeping this truck where it fits the ecosystem, where regulations allow simplicity, and where buyers value function over finish. That raises a bigger question. Should automakers be forced to sell simpler vehicles in the US? Have regulations accidentally priced working people out of new cars? And if a $13,000 truck can exist elsewhere, what does that say about who the American market is really built for? Because here's the twist: Toyota isn't just avoiding America, it's placing a calculated bet on the future. And that future isn't where you think it is. So where is Toyota betting next? Toyota's hidden strategy: build it where it's needed. Toyota realized the future of trucks isn't electric, it's local. Once you see that, everything Toyota is doing suddenly clicks into place. The $13,000 pickup is not meant to travel the world as a finished product. It's meant to travel as an idea, a system, a template. That's where the IMV origin concept quietly rewrites the rules. IMV stands for Innovative International Multipurpose Vehicle, and that name matters. This platform is designed to be broken down, shipped efficiently, and assembled close to where it will actually be used. Not in one giant factory halfway across the planet, but in regional hubs across Africa, Southeast Asia, and rural markets that the global auto industry usually treats as an afterthought. Toyota isn't just exporting trucks, it's exporting the ability to build them. Think of it like IKEA, but for mobility. Flat-packed components, modular parts, a frame and drivetrain that stay consistent, while the body, bed, and purpose change based on local needs. Farmers, delivery drivers, small business owners, aid organizations, and local governments can all start with the same base and finish it differently. That cuts shipping costs, lowers tariffs, and makes repairs simpler because parts are shared across many versions of the same vehicle. But here's the deeper move most people miss. Toyota isn't just selling vehicles in these regions. It's planting manufacturing knowledge inside them. Local assembly means local jobs, local suppliers, and local mechanics who understand the truck from the inside out. If something breaks, you don't wait weeks for a specialized part or a software unlock. You fix it with tools that already exist. That matters more than range or charging speed ever could. In many of these markets, electricity is unreliable. Infrastructure is spread thin, and downtime costs real money. A truck that can be repaired the same day is worth more than one with the latest tech that sits idle waiting for help to arrive. Toyota knows this, which is why it is betting on adaptability instead of automation. This also flips global trade on its head. For decades, car companies exported finished vehicles. Toyota is exporting a process, a way to build trucks locally, customize them locally, and keep value circulating locally. That is manufacturing as a strategy, not just production. So here's the uncomfortable question. If a locally assembled truck is cheaper, easier to fix, and better suited to real conditions, would you trust it more than a polished showroom model? Are global brands starting to realize that one-size-fits-all was never the future? And if Toyota can do this in emerging markets, what happens when buyers elsewhere start asking for the same freedom? Because this leads to the biggest discovery Toyota has made yet. The one no one is talking about. What if the real breakthrough wasn't the truck at all? But who gets to control what comes next? What Toyota found that the entire industry missed. And once you step back and look at the Hilux Champ in context, Toyota's real discovery comes into focus. People were not asking for smarter trucks. They were asking for honest ones. Toyota did not design this $13,000 pickup to compete with the Ford F-150 or even the Tacoma. That is the part most analysts missed. In many markets, the Hilux Champ is competing with motorcycles, three-wheelers, and worn-out used trucks that have already lived 3 hard lives. For millions of buyers, the real question is not luxury versus basic. It is new versus barely holding together. In places across Asia, Africa, and parts of Latin America, motorcycles are the default work vehicle. They haul families, livestock, construction supplies, and entire livelihoods. Toyota saw that reality and asked a simple question. What if someone could step up from a bike to a real pickup without taking on debt that follows them for a decade? That is the gap the Hilux Champ fills, and that is why the price matters more than horsepower numbers or touchscreen size. This also explains why Toyota did not rush to electrify it. EV-first thinking assumes reliable grids, dense charging networks, and downtime that does not destroy income. That world does not exist everywhere. In many regions, electricity is inconsistent, and long-distance travel is normal. A simple gas or diesel engine that can be fixed locally keeps people working. Toyota chose realism over headlines. What makes this moment bigger than one truck is what it forces competitors to confront. If Toyota can profitably sell a brand new pickup at this price, by cutting complexity and focusing on real use, then the industry can no longer pretend that bloated costs are inevitable. The Hilux Champ quietly proves that many modern trucks are expensive by choice, not necessity. This is not a loud revolution. There was no flashy launch event or bold promises about changing the world. That is why it matters. Industry resets rarely arrive with fireworks. They arrive as products that simply make too much sense to ignore. Once buyers see a new Toyota pickup priced near used vehicles, expectations shift. Once small businesses realize they can own instead of finance forever, habits change. And once competitors notice customers asking why trucks became so complicated in the first place, pressure builds. So here is the question worth sitting with. Is this the kind of future you want cars to move toward? A future where vehicles are tools again, not status symbols. Where affordability beats novelty. And if honesty wins over hype, what happens to an industry built on selling more than people actually need? Because that brings us to the final question. What does this mean for the future of trucks and for buyers like you? And that's Toyota's quiet discovery. Progress doesn't always mean adding more. Sometimes it means stripping things back until the truth shows. The $13,000 Toyota Hilux Champ isn't just an affordable pickup truck. It's a warning shot to an industry that forgot why trucks existed in the first place. Would you choose this over a high-tech truck? Should automakers bring back simpler vehicles? Could this work in your country? And if this changes everything, what comes next? Like, subscribe and join for more.